Hey guys, happy Monday. Monday the 6th, 2025. The 6th day of January. You know what? I don't know what's going on with me. I keep biting the inside right up here of my lip. Anybody else having that issue? Yeah. Probably because I'm sitting here eating zucchini bread. I love zucchini bread. No, I didn't bake it. I ordered it from one of our whole food like stores, organic store. So, I'm coming on here and I know I'm sounding kind of serious because I am being serious. I seen what is it, Shabby Van Life, which used to be Circus Peanuts. Y'all overlook the hair. This is my get up, take a shower, and go to the office and start working look. And then I went over and I seen where Ma'am is doing this series on her mom. And why she drags her mother through the mud so much is interesting to me because in her little video, one of them, she was saying that her mother has never apologized to them. Definitely not her. And hugged her and pretty much said it's going to be okay and said I'm sorry and all that. And she used the word set her free. But then later on in the video, she says that she has been delivered and set free. And you can't be both. Somebody can't set you free and you're already free. Either you're free or you're not. I'm going to suspect that she's not. She talks about how she's been on this journey since about 2005. And that she didn't have the money to get counseling. She doesn't believe in medication, so she let God do it. I've never known God to deliver you from something and you still deal with it unless you went and picked it back up. Right? If he delivered you, it's a done deal. But if you held on to part of it or went and picked it back up because you didn't believe you were delivered, then that's not God's fault. I'm making this video because not only as I've mentioned to you all that I am a person that dealt with SA by my stepfather. Well, not assault, but abuse. And as a counselor, I've talked to a lot of people that has happened to. It destroyed our family, to say the least. Destroyed it. Just tore it up. And it does most families. So I understand the difficulty of being able to talk about it because I couldn't for many, many years. Understand the difficulty of trying to walk out your recovery or walk out what has happened to you so you can get to a healthy, happy place. Definitely understand that. Understand how it affects everyone in the family. The ones that it happened to and the ones that it didn't. The parent that was there that may have known, might have suspected, may have done something, may have not done something. It touches everyone. And it's a lifelong thing that you have to learn to deal with, or it will continue to destroy you till you leave here. Now, does the perpetrators always? A A lot of times they don't even think they're wrong because most of the time it's been done to them. Most people will repeat behavior, whether it's good, positive, negative, or whatever, especially if you learn it as a child. I'm never going to negate the fact of someone saying that they have been abused as a child. I would never do that, because then it would be like saying that someone could look at me and say I'm lying. Definitely during the time period that she's talking about, this kind of stuff happening, people didn't discuss it. There was no YouTube. There was no suggestion of going to a doctor. You didn't even go to your pastor, priest, or whoever and discuss it, because it was something that was not talked about. You shut up, keep it in the house. As they used to say, don't take no business out of the house. What I am going to say is, if you have listened to her stories and they have triggered you, because you should have put a trigger warning on there, like I'm getting ready to do now, on what I'm discussing, because it's a very serious topic. It still goes on every day. I think it's like every, I want to say 16 minutes, 16 seconds. The stats, let me just look it up while I'm sitting here, because I'm sure as my name is Deborah, somebody's going to be like, you're wrong. Okay. I wanted to tell me the amount. It's not showing me. It's just giving me the numbers of like how many. And they're saying that reporting has gone up. And I don't know necessarily if that means more children are being abused or it's just more people are reporting it now. More than 550,000 children are known in the U.S. to be abused yearly. Most of the time it's by someone they know. One in 9 girls and 1 in 53 boys under the age of 18 experience SA or assault by the hands of someone they know. The Bureau of Justice Statistics report shows 1.6%, 16 out of 1,000 of children between the ages of 12 and 17 were victims of RAPE and SA. I wanted it to tell me, and I don't really have time to look it up, but like how many minutes in a day, like how many children are done in a day, but that's neither here nor there. Too many. One is too many. So what I'm getting around to say is, if you watched her videos and they were triggering to you, that says that there are some things that you still need to work on within yourself if this is something that you have experienced. I would not say try to do it by yourself. There are free places you can go to get counseling. And it's your choice whether you feel like you need medication or not, or if the doctor suggests it and you want to take it or don't want to take it. What I can say that if you really have been traumatized and you haven't dealt with it or you pushed it aside, you are dealing with it in some form or fashion, maybe not in the most positive way. It could be alcohol. It could be drugs. It could be sex. It could be shopping. It could be workaholic. It could be you just being an angry person. You don't trust people. There's just so many different things and ways that it comes out when it's not dealt with. And that's trauma on any level. My thing to her is she's not healed. She's not over it. Everything is pointed towards her mother more than the perpetrator. And I understand that feeling of hurt, feeling unprotected, feeling scared, feeling like your parents should have done more. But also, as I've gotten older and became the woman myself, I wanted to know what was going on with my mother. I could easily just stand and point a finger at her. And when I listened to her story, especially this last one that I'd happened to run across about the whole uncle situation, it says to me that he was a predator in their family. And I suspect that her mother was not the first and she was not the last. And I would strongly, strongly bet that what he did to her, he had done to her mom. And what people don't understand sometimes is that depending on when all this started happening between her and the uncle, it could have created a crazy bond. One, because she was so young, she might have felt like she was in love with him. Two, he may not, for what everybody's saying, may not be her true biological uncle. You know, because families lie and don't tell the truth. Three, she definitely was probably scared of him. I mean, who knows what he was in? She said he was in prison for 20 some years. Who knows exactly what it is he did, because she didn't go into it. And who's to say the family's going to tell the truth? It's amazing to me how she tells the story of the family all blaming. It's like they all blamed her mother, but I didn't hear really anybody blaming him because he was older than her. That was his niece, which would have been his sister's daughter that you did this to, a brother's daughter that you're doing this to. And like I said, I don't suspect she was the first, but yet in her story, everybody was blaming the mom. What about this old ass man that was doing this? Now, I'm not sure, like I said, there are studies and there are stories and everything showing that sometimes when these relationships happen, and I can't say, I use the word, when these indiscretions happen, when a person that is an adult is doing these things to a child, an unhealthy bond can occur. And granted, the child is confused. The adult knows exactly what they're doing. And so it seems to me that he just came back and picked up where he left off at. And then him doing that to her daughter shows that he was more into children, young people, and maybe that's why he wanted to stay with her, because she had a house full. And if she was in a mode where she was afraid of him and he's always had control over her, then no, she wasn't in a position to protect you. She wasn't even in a position to protect herself. It would be very easy to look at that story and put all the blame on her mother, but that's not true. There's a whole lot going on here, because my thing is, where was the family that should have been protecting her? This wasn't something that just started happening. And why is it that every neighborhood they lived in, everybody knew their business? Who was telling the business? Horrific story. Horrific. And yet, for something like that, is YouTube a place for it on a certain level? There's nothing wrong with telling your story. Your story. Telling someone else's story, yeah. Now, If I wanted to come on here and just tell y'all the whole situation of my childhood, I could tell it from my viewpoint and my story. Could I tell you what was going on with the other people in the home? Only on a surface level. Should I tell their story? No, I shouldn't. They should be able to tell their story. They may not want their story out there. That's my issue. Yes, you're allowed to tell your story, but for you to throw your mama under the bus the way you did, when if you really listen to the story, there was something going on with her. I guarantee the bullshit that he did to her is the reason why she was drinking, the reason why she might have not had a whole lot of barriers when it came to sex and relationships, because she might have felt like she was used and abused already. If nobody protected her as a child, where is her mothering coming from? Her mothering instincts to know what to do if nobody was taking care of her. There's just so many layers to this story. And I really, really wish that this woman would get some real counseling so that she can look at all aspects of the story and really heal. Because I think her story is triggering to people who have gone through this and who have not healed themselves. But also, I don't think she's healed enough for her to be able to tell the story and show somebody that she's been successful at dealing with all this. I don't see it. I don't. Everything in her life is showing chaos. Everything in her life is showing that whatever was going on in their home in the formative years of her growing up has totally destroyed who she could have been. And that she's trying to build herself, but she needs help. She's not doing it well on her own. The lady she's living with is not equipped to handle anything like that. She really needs a professional. And when you bring these stories out to the public and to the world, like she said, this is going to be out here in YouTube virtual world forever. Even if you delete it, it's still out there somewhere. So to bring a story like that out and not really give people a place to go, you're just telling the story so you can get some clicks and views, I suspect, on some level. Is very damaging, very damaging. I really want to, and I say this with everything in me, if you are dealing with this, or if you have dealt with something like this, and you've never, or you've experienced, let me back that up. If you have experienced anything like that, and have not really dealt with it, or not dealt with it well, please seek out in your city, town. There's always free mental health. Sometimes there's a waiting list. It just is. They don't always put the monies in that area. I wish they would. The bigger the city, the more resources. The smaller the town or the city, the less amount of resources. If you have medical, go and have at least one appointment and see how you feel. And then if you feel like that person have been some assistance to you, do the time that you got on your medical. If you don't feel comfortable with that one, you can always find another one. Nothing is a first time fit. You know what I'm saying? You may get a doctor that you like and you may not. You may get a boss that you like and you may not. You may get a mental health counselor that you like and you may not. I want people to heal and be healthy. I wish I could say to you that if you go talk to a counselor, if you get on medication or something like that, this stuff will disappear. It's not. It's not going to disappear. That's why you have to learn how to deal with the memories and what has happened to you to the best of your ability, because it's never going to go away. It's always going to be back there somewhere in the background. But if you learn how to deal with the emotions and what has happened to you and try to understand on a certain level, for me, I needed to know why the people that were the players in this did what they did, acted the way they acted, and what was their background to help me to be able to understand. And I was able to do that. For some people, they don't need that. You know, that's just how I think and how I process stuff. But I will definitely say that I guarantee if you could do a history of that family, there was a lot of that going on, going back. And a lot of people swept it under the rug and didn't say anything. So a lot of people got hurt. A lot of people got hurt. And I would suspect that her mother doesn't even know how to deal with her own hurt. That's why, what I found is me and her in that same era. And what I found was the older women before me, things happened to them, but there was nobody there to protect them either. So they were just told to get over it because it was sort of like, it happened to me, I had to get over it, you get over it. We're now in a time where people can discuss this, and the young people want to, or the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, want to discuss what happened to them. But if you have somebody that you may have a parent that's 70, 80, 90, they may not want to discuss those things because they were told, get over it, it happened to me, get over it and move on with your life. Because that's what women were told. That's what little girls were told. We know better now. So I'm not surprised by her mother saying that, because I can see that her mother herself probably has not dealt with her own trauma and what has happened to her. So for her, if she has not dealt with her stuff, there's no way she can deal with her children's stuff. Unfortunately. Unfortunately. The whole family needs some help. Everybody that was under the roof, the father is no longer there. She didn't say, or at least I haven't heard in her story so far, what happened to the supposed uncle. But yeah, he's left a trail of devastation behind him, whether he's here or not. I guarantee the list goes way back. And it might have started with somebody doing it to him, or him watching somebody do it to his sisters or somebody in the house. I don't know. But I guarantee that those two were not the first of his victims. I would say to you, please get the assistance you need. And if it's happening in your home, if you suspect or you think or you have an unction, it probably is, you take your child to get the help that they need. Don't stick your head in the sand because this is your husband or this is your brother, your uncle, or grandfather, or whoever. And the family's going to be upset and you're hurt about what. No, the first person that needs to get assistance is the child. And then you, in how to deal with getting the perpetrator out your house or y'all not being around that person anymore. Because true perpetrators don't change. Now that is statistically a fact. That they cannot, that is one crime, mental health issue that they have not been able to figure out how to get the person to stop. That no matter how long they're in jail, when they get out, the odds are good that they're going to commit the crime again. They're going to harm someone again. They've even done where they have took their stuff off, and that didn't stop them. What they did was they used something else. It has been where the shot seems to help on a certain level, but after a while they won't go get them. So, yes, this particular crime is one that's very devastating, and we as a society don't know how to deal with it, don't want to discuss it, and it's done a lot of harm to a lot of people, a lot of people, and it's still taboo, and people don't want to talk about it, and yeah. I just wanted to touch on it because, like I said, I was looking at her video and I was just, I was saddened by it because I was looking at a very hurt and destroyed and torn down and trying to figure out how to be healed person, but they're so headstrong. And I don't know if it's just that they just don't trust people or what the case may be. But yeah, they have made a conscious decision to try to do it on their own, and it's not working because you're 57. And when you talk about this, it's almost as if it was yesterday. You say that you've dealt with it and you're not as emotional, but that's not true. You've been crying for the last week or so from what you say. So this depression that you're going through, you know, stems back to a whole lot of different things. I pray that you will finally say that you want to go and talk to someone and see if they can help you, even if you think that they can't. It doesn't hurt. Just like you went to the free clinic for physical, go to a free clinic for mental. And it at least help you get to a place where you can at least start from. And you can look up things holistically that can help you. The exercise is good if you quit almost trying to kill yourself on the exercise equipment. How you're eating is not the best. Carnivore diet is not necessarily the best diet for you mentally getting yourself together. But, you know, who am I to tell you what to do? I just pray that you will. Because the thing is, your story is affecting other people. And you have yet to give anybody anything in how they can do better once you open up that can of worms in their life. Once one of your subscribers who are watching and listening to this start going back into their history and what has happened to them, what have you given them in a way of assisting them? You've just been telling your story, and even you telling your story has not done something so good that we can see that you've been able to deal with this in a more positive way. And blaming your mom for everything, maybe you should reassess that. Maybe you should really look at your mother as not just your mother, but as a woman and at one time a girl, and what her family might have been like, what you know about their history and how she became who she is and where she was at when she had you all. And maybe you could give her a little grace and mercy like God gives us. So that's what I was thinking about when I watched it. I actually stopped watching it because I just kept thinking about the people who must have watched this and how it might have affected them. And I was just like, you know what? I can't condone this. I just can't. I have to let people know that there is hope on the other side and there is healing on the other side. And it takes a combination of things, you know, eating, exercising, having talk therapy, maybe medication, if you have faith, you know, in whatever your faith may be, family support of those who, you know and may not know. They had nothing to do with it. Friends, if you don't have that type of family, friends. A lot of women and men are not going to tell their significant other. And I kind of look at, if you're in a relationship with somebody you can't tell this kind of stuff to, then what is your relationship really? Because all of this affects your relationships with other people. So it takes a lot to get you to the other side, but you can get there. It's work. And unfortunately, you're having to work on something that somebody else did to you and you had no control over and couldn't do anything about because you had no power, you were a child. So first, forgive yourself. I personally, when I came to Christ, I wanted to forgive the person because they were going on with their life and I needed to go on with mine. And God gave me that. He did. He really did. So not everybody wants that. That was something that I wanted to be able to do for me. And so I was able to do that. And that helped me in my healing process. So yeah, I know people will not agree with my video, and that's okay. That's okay. We live in a free democracy, so they tell us that we can speak and say what we want. I'm just trying to throw some suggestions out there for you to be able to get to a place versus just sitting, listening to somebody else's story and not knowing what to do with what has come up in you and watching them, and they're not doing anything to help them with what has come up in them other than telling a story on YouTube. All right, people, it's at the end of my work day. And yeah, I'm sorry. This is kind of not my normally peppy, but I just wanted to put this out here. I just felt like I needed to. So hopefully it will help somebody. Hopefully. All right, guys. I'm out. You guys have a wonderful Monday. Bye.